We are talking about the latest with our first snowstorm of the season, how much we can expect, the cold coming in behind it, and there's the possibility of another storm next week, and also some cold weather ahead. Well, winter is back. Certainly with a vengeance. Winter storm warning through the Twin Cities, south central Minnesota, and most of northern and western Wisconsin, and winter weather advisories all the way back in Nebraska. So you can see really the wintry path of this whole system that'll be with us through today. That area of low pressure really deepening over the last 24 hours. It's centered right along the Missouri and Iowa border. Big swath of precipitation all the way back to Colorado, basically, and into Wisconsin. And on the southeastern edge of this, there is a little bit of rain mixing in where it's warm enough. But it's going to be will be all snow for us, of course, in the Twin Cities, as we've been seeing. Heaviest of it midday into the early, even mid-afternoon. Then by late afternoon, it'll start to lighten up. So it'll still be snowing during the evening commute, but the heaviest snow will be done at that point. But we'll also have the bulk of our totals behind us. So this is looking at vertical velocities or upward motion in the atmosphere. And yellow are some of those heavier bursts that are going to be right over us here through the midday into the early and mid-afternoon. So a few hours of some heavier bursts of snow, but it won't be quite as heavy as what it could be. So sometimes in these storms, what we look for is where the upward motion, which I've circled in yellow, lines up with this layer in blue, which is the dendritic growth zone between 12 and 18 degrees Celsius below zero, or 0 to 10. That's where we get the biggest snowflakes, those big heavy flakes that can add up really quickly. We don't quite see those things align today. Still probably some heavier snow, but not quite that high ratio of snow we can get sometimes. But Storm Prediction Center is watching east central Minnesota into western Wisconsin for these heavier snow showers, maybe up to 1 inch per hour rates into the early to mid-afternoon. I still think we get about 5, 6, 7 inches for most of the Twin Cities. We're right in the middle of this purple swath that will be even heavier as Lake Superior gets involved towards UP of Michigan and the South Shore. But there is going to be a wide range because of variations in moisture content and those ratios. Some of those heavier bursts, those heavier ratio snow could produce some 6, 7, 8 inch amounts. So this is the high end totals, 6 to 8, but the lower end totals just around 4 or so. So that's how we get that 4 to 8 inch range, which we will literally see across the metro area. And then we get some cold tomorrow, temporary warmth Friday, but a big blocking pattern developing. So what you're seeing here in red, big upper level ridge of warmth into Greenland and then also into Alaska. This is what we had a couple of weeks ago. And again, that forces the air from the Arctic south across the middle of North America and eastern North America. This can be a stormy and cold pattern and shaping up for next week. Will this be the December long pattern is the debate among meteorologists right now, because it does look like a blocking pattern. So snow again on Saturday, Friday night, Saturday for mainly northern Minnesota. We'll see some here in southern Minnesota, but then another bigger storm potentially. This is Monday into Tuesday. Looks a lot like this storm we're in right now. Way too early. That's a week away to talk about totals or the track just yet, but those are a couple systems that we're going to be watching after we get done with this one. So we saw our high today of 32 already. We'll be dropping through the 20s. You're going to notice the wind picking up later today too, and especially tomorrow. Windy, 15 to 30 mile an hour winds, gusts over that, and wind chills mainly in the single digits. So that high of 23, yeah, it's going to feel a lot colder than that. Thursday though better. Friday, temporary thaw there, 40. And then again, some snow showers possible Friday night into early Saturday with sunshine most of Saturday and Sunday. And then we'll be watching that possibility of another storm for early next week.